Ever pondered how Earth came into being, a place we call home? Our planet's origin story is an epic tale that begins approximately 4.6 billion years ago. Picture this: the universe, a vast expanse of space, is filled with giant molecular clouds. These clouds are colossal clusters of dust and gas, and it's within one of these that the story of Earth begins. In the swirling chaos of this cloud, gravity starts to pull matter together. As more and more dust and gas accumulate, the pressure and heat at the core increase, giving birth to a young star we now know as the Sun. But the story doesn't end there. Around this newborn star, a circumstellar disk of leftover material begins to take shape. It's this disk, rich in elements and compounds, that serves as the cradle for the formation of planets. Among these developing celestial bodies is one that stands out: our Earth. In its early days, Earth was nothing like the blue and green oasis we know today. It was a young and violent place, a molten mass of magma. This intense heat was the result of constant collisions, as chunks of matter known as planetesimals crashed into one another in a fiery dance of creation. Over time, these planetesimals stuck together, growing larger and larger until they formed what we call a protoplanet. This early Earth was a hostile environment, subject to extreme temperatures and rampant volcanic activity. There was no life, no water, just a world ablaze, enveloped in a blanket of scorching gases. But as with all things, this too began to change. As the bombardment of planetesimals decreased, the Earth began to cool. The surface solidified, creating the first crust. It was a simple beginning, but it was the start of what would eventually become our home. From a molten mass, our Earth began its journey towards becoming a life-sustaining planet. Our story, however, is far from over. This is merely the first chapter in the grand saga of Earth's evolution, a tale of transformation that spans billions of years. The early eons of Earth were nothing like today. Imagine a world of molten rock and primitive life. The Hadean and Archean eons, spanning from 4.6 to 2.5 billion years ago, were periods of extreme transformation. The Hadean eon, aptly named after Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, was a fiery era. During this time, Earth faced a relentless barrage from asteroids and comets, a process known as the late heavy bombardment. This period was so volatile that the surface of the Earth was a literal ocean of molten rock. But from this fiery chaos, the first oceans began to form as the planet cooled. As we moved into the Archean eon, the Earth's surface cooled further, allowing for the formation of the first continents. Around this time, life also began to stir in the form of single-celled organisms. These primitive life forms, bacteria and archaea, found their homes in the depths of the oceans. Unlike the life we know today, these organisms were anaerobic, meaning they didn't need oxygen to survive. Now, imagine a world without oxygen in the air. Hard to fathom, isn't it? But that's exactly how the Earth was during these early eons. These single-celled organisms thrived in an oxygen-free world, setting the stage for the evolution of life as we know it. Towards the end of the Archean eon, these microscopic life forms began to change the planet in a profound way. They started releasing oxygen into the atmosphere through a process called photosynthesis. While this might seem like a small step, it was a giant leap for life on Earth. As the Earth cooled, the stage was set for a revolution in life. The oxygen these early organisms produced would eventually pave the way for more complex forms of life, changing the face of our planet forever. But that's a tale for the next scene. Imagine an event so monumental it changed the course of life on Earth. Welcome to the Proterozoic Eon, a time when our planet underwent a major transformation known as the Great Oxygenation Event. From around 2.5 billion years ago, Earth's atmosphere began to accumulate a game-changing element: oxygen. This process was driven by tiny, single-celled organisms known as cyanobacteria, which developed a new way to harness the energy from the sun. They used photosynthesis to convert sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into glucose for energy, and most importantly, oxygen as a byproduct. Just picture this: These microscopic living beings, floating in Earth's ancient oceans, were responsible for filling our atmosphere with a gas that would ultimately enable the existence of all aerobic or oxygen-breathing life forms. But this oxygen revolution didn't happen overnight. In fact, it took hundreds of millions of years for the oxygen levels to rise significantly. Initially, a lot of this oxygen was absorbed by the oceans and the Earth's crust. However, as these reservoirs became saturated, oxygen began to escape into the atmosphere, forever changing the composition of the air we breathe. The arrival of oxygen was a double-edged sword. While it was a boon for future life forms, it was a catastrophe for many of the anaerobic organisms that dominated the planet at that time. Exposed to this toxic gas, many of them perished in what could be considered the world's first mass extinction. However, with the rise of oxygen also came the opportunity for evolution and diversification. The stage was set for the emergence of aerobic organisms, creatures that could use oxygen to create energy. Eventually, this led to the appearance of the first multicellular life, a giant leap in complexity from the single-celled organisms that had hitherto ruled the Earth. With oxygen in the air, life on Earth was ready for the next big leap. This was the dawn of an entirely new chapter in the story of our planet, setting the stage for the diverse and complex life we know today. From the first fish to the reign of dinosaurs, Earth was teeming with life. The Paleozoic era, spanning a staggering 541 to 252 million years ago, witnessed the emergence of complex life forms. The oceans were a thriving cradle, nurturing the first vertebrates, the fish. Insects too buzzed into existence, while on land, plants began their quiet colonization. As life diversified, the first great mass extinction event, the Permian-Triassic, marked a catastrophic ending to the Paleozoic era. Over 90% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial life were extinguished. Earth was once again a planet in recovery, but life, resilient as ever, found a way. The Mesozoic era, often referred to as the Age of Dinosaurs, followed. From 252 to 66 million years ago, reptiles dominated not just the land, but the air and oceans too. Dinosaurs, these magnificent creatures, roamed the Earth in all their diversity, from the towering Brachiosaurus to the fierce Tyrannosaurus rex. However, it wasn't just about the dinosaurs. In the shadows, mammals and birds began to evolve, setting the stage for a future takeover. But before they could rise, another mass extinction event, the Cretaceous-Paleogene, had to occur. It wiped out the dinosaurs, except for one lineage that had taken to the skies, the birds. The end of the dinosaurs marked a new beginning, the rise of mammals. The Earth had once more been reshaped by a mass extinction event, and it was in this post-dinosaur world that mammals could diversify and thrive. The stage was set for the next chapter in Earth's history, the Cenozoic era, the age of mammals, and eventually the dawn of humanity. But that, my friends, is a story for another scene. After the dinosaurs came the mammals, and among them us, humans. Welcome to the Cenozoic era, often heralded as the age of mammals. After the extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs, mammals, those warm-blooded and usually hairy creatures, diversified and expanded, filling the ecological niches left vacant by the reptiles. From tiny, shrew-like creatures to enormous land-dwelling behemoths, mammals evolved into a dazzling array of forms and sizes. They colonized the land, took to the skies, and returned to the oceans, becoming the most versatile and adaptable group of animals on Earth. But let's not forget about us, the Homo sapiens. Our story begins around 7 million years ago, with our earliest ancestors appearing on the scene. These early hominids were more ape than human, but they set us on the path to becoming the dominant species on Earth. Over millions of years, these hominids evolved. Their brains grew larger, and they started to walk upright. They learned to use tools, control fire, and communicate with each other. Around 200,000 years ago, the first Homo sapiens, modern humans like you and me, emerged. From these humble beginnings, we've built civilizations, developed technology, and explored the universe beyond our planet. We've become not only observers of Earth's grand evolutionary narrative, but also active participants and at times disruptors. From the first human ancestors to modern Homo sapiens, we've come a long way. Today, Earth is a diverse, dynamic world, shaped by life over billions of years. Our planet teems with varied ecosystems, from lush forests and expansive grasslands to arid deserts and deep oceans. Yet, this natural splendor faces threats from human activity, including habitat destruction, pollution, and climate change. Nonetheless, Earth's resilience is evident in the adaptability and evolution of life forms. Despite numerous challenges, life on Earth continues to adapt and evolve, shaping our planet's future. Earth's story is far from over, and we are part of it.